Simon Belmont and Bomberman team up against Optimus Prime to save the TV shows from horrible ratings. And what does a frog and Boba Fett have in common? This and more with games you should check out. Welcome everyone to the first episode of Games You Should Check Out. I'm your host, Xander Skullion, and this series is pretty much self-explanatory. I'm going to be talking about some games that I highly recommend you guys check out, but at the end I'm going to be having a segment called 1 Minute Crunch where I have viewers like you send in your 1 minute recommendations. Now, I've been playing a lot of GameCube imports lately, and one game that's really just caught my eye, and I did some research and found out that Hudson Soft in the early 2000s made a couple of compilation discs, or like volumes, called PC Gin, and they made a remake of Star Soldier, Adventure Island, but this one that really caught my eye because I absolutely love this mascot is they did a remake of Bunks Adventure.
In this remake of Bunks Adventure, that's exactly what it is. This is Bunks Adventures through and through with a new coat of paint, but that's not necessarily a bad thing if you're wanting to experience this platformer again with new eyes. This game is quite stunning with its visual appearance, and I feel like this game's aged very well considering it's an early 2000s game. I could see downloading this now on PlayStation Network or Xbox Live and going to town on it, or even playing it on the Nintendo Switch. It's a shame that Bonk has not been as popular in the West, because by playing this I realized that he's a very underrated Hudson Soft mascot. You're going to be going through 5 different worlds and very challenging levels, playing as Bonk, this prehistoric big-headed caveman, saving the princess from an evil lizard named King Drool. When a TV show has low ratings and a station threatens to pull the plug, the producers have a plan to showcase a tournament with the most unlikeliest of contenders. In Dream Mix TV, you're fighting as characters spanning from many companies of Konami, Hudson Soft, and Takara. Now I know what you're thinking. This looks awful lot like Smash Brothers, and you'd be right, this is a Smash Brothers clone, but to be honest, it has its own identity. The gameplay is pretty simple: fight to death and collect as many hearts as possible. If a player loses all their hearts, they enter a super small mode where they wander around the stage trying to get their soul, and if the opponent gets the soul before they do, they can still walk around, but they can cause a ruckus among the remaining fighters. The last fighter standing at the end of the round wins, and there are actually 2 modes to this game. There's a World Fighters, which is a single player campaign, and also a character soul survival, which is the multiplayer, and a slew of mini games.
Now, other than the fact that both these games are Hudson Soft and Konami properties, something they both have in common is unfortunately they never came out to the West. And you know, with the Switch coming out and with them announcing they're going to be making GameCube games on the Virtual Console, I hope the Nintendo Switch takes after its grandfather, the Nintendo Wii, and we can get some Virtual Console international exclusives that the West just missed out on.
Developed in May of 2014 by Studio Pixel, first released on Steam, now you can play it on the PlayStation Network through PS4 downloads. In Kira Blaster, the player controls a frog for the Cat and Frog Teleporting Company. He's armed with this pea shooter and he has to clean out the teleporters of strange black monsters caused by his CEO's little mysterious pet. You're going to be going through a series of pretty linear stages by the means of running, gunning, and shooting, but I had to describe this gameplay as very similar to Contra meets Turrican. And while this indie game is not trying to break uncommon ground, what it does best, and that is reliving that retro style games that we love with its own sensible flair and personality, with humor and challenging platforming.
And it is now time for 1 Minute Crunch.
A reading from the book NES Oddities and the Homebrew Revolution. Super Russian Roulette by Bat Lab Electronics is a unique take on the Russian roulette game where people spin a revolver and pull the trigger against their head with the last person standing winning. The game features full voice acting and the computer character is really lively and animated. You also do various things to mess with him, including having a shoot-off and shooting his teddy bear on the screen. You also technically can play a majority of this game with a newer TV, since you're technically not shooting at the TV, so you don't need a CRT. Excellent game, available this month actually, by Andrew Rotano, who took this game to Kickstarter. Page 341 of the book, and that was a reading from NES Oddities, the Homebrew Revolution.
Hey guys, welcome to the 1 Minute Crunch. My name is Wes, I'm from Real Life Arcade. I'm going to take this quick minute and talk about Smuggler's Run for the PS2. It's made by Rockstar Games. I think you should check this out if you guys have a PlayStation 2. Real quick rundown on this game. You play a smuggler, and essentially you gotta, smuggle contraband across borders and dodge the law and shit. You also play different random games of like cat and mouse. You gotta beat other smugglers to packages. You got random races. All through the countryside, there's like there's a forest, the desert, there's the Iceland, which is the forest under ice. But it's pretty cool. This is definitely one of my favorite games growing up as a teenager. Especially since it was made by Rockstar. They made Grand Theft Auto one of the best games ever, and essentially it's like the same thing, but you can't get out of your vehicle or nothing like that, but it's still pretty fucking dope. I recommend you guys pick this up. As a matter of fact, we're gonna go ahead and do a free giveaway on this bad motherfucker right here. So I'm gonna give this copy that I'm holding in my hand to one of you lucky motherfuckers. All you gotta do, be a subscriber to Real Life Arcade. Hop over there, go check that out. Also, you must be a subscriber to Xander's channel as well. And I'm going to let Xander handle the rest on how we're going to do this thing.
Big thank you to Jeffrey and Wesley for your contributes to 1 Minute Crunch. And if you have a 1 Minute Crunch, be sure to submit a video under 1 minute of a video game you want people to check out. Send that as an email to xsgamepodcast@gmail.com. I'll have a link on the description below, and I'll also have a link on the description below for Wesley's channel and Jeffrey's. Now, Wesley decided to smuggle in a contest in the first episode. You guys can win a free copy of Smuggler's Run for the PlayStation 2 by subscribing to his channel and my channel and using the hashtag 1 Minute Crunch on Twitter. Once you put in that hashtag, it puts your name in a box, and I'll be drawing it in the next episode. Also, big thank you to Jeffrey for recommending Super Russian Roulette. I'll have a link to his website below and his YouTube channel because he is a profound author. He's also a huge contributor to the homebrew community, and he does some podcasting as well. He's a jack of all trades, and if you guys want your own copy of the NES Oddities or the NES Complete Guide or SNES Complete Guide written by him, I'll have a link on the description below. Put your pre-orders in now. They make great coffee table books. They're also great for if you're collecting a lot of SNES and NES games, you can actually check it off. He has like little check marks under each game. It kind of makes me think of when you were a kid and you get those action figures and you would like flip it over and see all the different lines and of the toys and you'd check them off. At least I did that when I got like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and stuff like that. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching the first episode of Games You Should Check Out. And again, if you guys have a game you want to recommend, be sure to send me a video. It's got to be under 1 minute to xsgamepodcast@gmail.com. As always guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and as always, happy gaming.
Can't get enough of XS Gaming Podcast? Be sure to check out our audio podcast on podomag.com. You can also subscribe to us on iTunes. And if you have a YouTube channel or podcast you'd like to share, be sure to check us out on Facebook on our group page and join the community. As always, guys, thank you so much for all the support and happy gaming.